Picture this. The year is 1988. The world is right on the cusp of a digital revolution, but most people have absolutely no idea. This is the story of how the very first global classroom was born, long before the World Wide Web as we know it even existed. Okay, so before we go any further, we really have to get our heads around this. To understand what these pioneers accomplished, you have to understand the world they were living in. I mean, what did online even mean back in 1988?
First of all, just erase everything you know about being connected. There was no Wi-Fi at all. You couldn't just pop open a laptop and be on the internet. That wasn't a thing.
And get this, there were no web browsers, no Chrome, no Safari, nothing. The internet wasn't this visual, clickable place. It was a world of pure text, navigated by typing in commands.
The only sign that you were entering this new digital frontier was the sound, that iconic, screeching, humming sound of a dial-up modem connecting over a phone line. That was the sound of the future.
So, into this world of text and screeching modems steps a Norwegian student named Morten Flate Paulsen. He signed up for this experimental new online course, one of the very first of its kind, and he logged on.
The course was called Computer Conferencing in Business and Education. There were just 15 students from all over the world connecting through this text-based system. The teacher, Paul Levinson, would post topics each week, and the students would just type out their responses, creating these conversations that unfolded really slowly, over days.
And this is where you really get a sense of what this felt like. Paulsen talks about checking to see who else was logged in one Saturday night, and it was just 3 of them. And in that tiny text-only space, he felt like he was part of some new global movement. It was intimate, it was exciting, and it was the beginning of something huge.
That experience completely changed things for him. He was so taken by the potential of it all that in the very next semester, he went from being a student to being a guest expert, teaching in another course. I mean, the revolution was literally happening in real time. So he takes this amazing experience, this spark, and he brings it back home to Norway's NKI Distance Education Institute. It was time to go bigger, to move from just one course to building one of the world's first true online colleges. And they were smart about it. They had this really clear 3-step plan. First, just offer a few courses for free. You know, test the waters, see what works. Second, and this is brilliant, build an electronic cafe, a social space for students and teachers to just hang out and talk. They knew community was key. And then finally, once they'd figured things out, launch the real tuition-based program. But they immediately ran into a huge philosophical debate, one that, honestly, we're still having today. Should online classes have fixed start dates where everybody moves through the material together, build that strong sense of community? Or should they be totally flexible, like an old correspondence course, where you just work at your own pace? NKI, they chose community. But trying to build that community came with some insane technical challenges. This next slide just says it all. The entire online college, all the students, all the teachers, all the courses ran on just 4 public telephone lines. 4. Can you imagine a whole university sharing 4 dial-up connections today?
And the speed? Oh, the speed. Some students were connecting at just 300 bits per second. To give you some perspective, that is over 300,000 times slower than a typical home internet connection we have today. Every single letter that popped up on the screen was a small miracle.
But this wasn't some little isolated experiment happening in Norway. Paulsen and his colleagues, they knew they were onto something revolutionary. It was time to hit the road and share this vision with the world. So 1988 turned into this absolute whirlwind. They were in Istanbul in April, Helsinki in June, Oslo in August, and Milton Keynes in the UK in October. They were basically evangelists for a new way of learning, showing a pretty skeptical world what was possible with just a computer and a phone line. And one of these presentations led to this truly unforgettable moment. It's just a perfect symbol of the old world crashing into the new. Okay, so get this. Paulsen is asked to give a demo at an 800-year-old monastery. The problem? The only phone jack is way over in the main office, far from where he's presenting. So what does he do? He gets a 20-meter-long cord, climbs out a window, and literally scales the outside of these meter-thick medieval stone walls just to plug in his modem. He physically bridged the Middle Ages and the computer age just to do a live demo of his online college. Amazing. At another conference that year, you get another incredible technological time capsule. A presenter named Angela Castro is talking in complete awe about this brand new technology, the CD-ROM. She describes this small silver platter as a marvel that could hold 500 books. It just shows you what felt like the absolute peak of technology back then. So when you put all of this together, this frantic, innovative, against all odds work, what's the takeaway? Well, the future of learning, as we all know it, really did begin right then and there. And here's the crucial thing. They gave this a name. They weren't just messing around with gadgets. They were building a real methodology called computer-mediated conferencing. The whole point wasn't just to send information back and forth. It was to intentionally build learning and social environments online. That was the real breakthrough. And in their own research papers from 1988, they asked the perfect question themselves. Was this whole thing a real breakthrough for education? Or was it just another tech gadget that was going to fade away? They knew exactly what was at stake. And looking back now, from where we're standing, the answer is just so obvious, isn't it? With their hard work, their passion, their willingness to climb up monastery walls, they proved without a shadow of a doubt that it was a breakthrough. Which leaves us with a final thought to chew on. Just think about it. With absolutely nothing more than text scrawling across a screen at a snail's pace, they built these vibrant global communities. So today, with instant video, with virtual reality, with AI at our fingertips, what are we building?